What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. It's WrestleMania weekend. Mattel is on hand and they are showing off a ton of figures. We got a bunch today. There's more coming tomorrow and Saturday. So I'm excited. There are some really cool reveals and I can't wait to break into them. No more need to hype it up. Let's get to it. Let's start off with this WCW Nitro set. This is on hand, so we got to see it in scale with other figures and not just renders and prototypes and all that good stuff. We actually got to see it in hand again because, we saw it at the last access. So it's really nice to know that this is moving forward and it's not just a hypothetical. If you guys are interested, maybe we'll make it. And it was kind of interesting because the funding opened up yesterday, so it's time. If you want to back this project, you can. And I assume based on the early rollout of people backing it that it was going to really surge and hit a really nice number before WrestleMania even started. As of right now, it's at 1,125 backers of the needed 5,000 to get the project completed. Especially by April 7th if you want that Hulk Hogan figure. So it's 22%. I'm hoping WrestleMania will continue to give that surge, that energy, that excitement for people who want to buy it. But I do think there were some complications with a bunch of other figures going up for pre-order the same time period. And I think if they had kind of waited or kind of balanced things out with their partners where it was like, okay, after the fundraiser, you can put all this stuff up for pre-order. But right now it's kind of like, okay, do I want this? Do I want this $100 set of figures? Do I want to spend $200 on another thing? It's kind of weird. So it's kind of making people kind of go, which way do I want to go with my money here? So hopefully it still gets enough funding to keep moving forward, especially for everybody who wants that early bird Hulk Hogan figure. So first up was a really cool shocker early in the morning before any panels started or any reveals were let out. Amazon was like, we can't wait. We got to tell you guys what's coming up. So it's a 2-pack Ultimate Edition of Survivor Series 1990. It's the Undertaker and the Gooker. 8 years ago, Mattel revealed this figure and everyone has been clamoring for it ever since. It is such a weird thing because no one liked the Gooker when it was revealed as a big surprise in the egg. I mean, back in the day, it was like, it was going to be some amazing, cool superstar. And in fact, it was just a guy dressed as a big turkey. But somehow over the years, it's become this iconic, we've got to have it. It's this holy grail for WWE collectors. And now it's finally here. Survivor Series 1990 is one of my favorite wrestling events ever because it's just an all-star squad of everybody. The Undertaker is really cool. We get him in Ultimate Edition form and his classic original look, and Mattel made sure they paid attention to the detail because he has black gloves. That's a really cool touch. But you can also swap him out and go with the gray gloves for the long-term Undertaker look. That's a really nice bonus. Of course, he's got the tie and swappable portraits, so you can do that. And of course, the leather jacket. The Gooker for me is where it's at with this set though, because this guy is a figure I never thought I would care about wanting, but now it's here. It's like, I've got to get this thing. The amazing thing is it actually comes with the egg. So you can actually put the Gooker in the egg and have him bust out. And on the Mattel display, they had Mean Gene Okerlund with them. So awesome. That moment was terrible, but it's great to have it in figure form. And again, having that as a part of my 1990 Survivor Series display is going to be really cool. And this is an $80 set after taxes, which I don't think is a terrible value because you get 2 Ultimate Edition figures and that's pretty much $60 or a little bit over $60. At that point, it's more like $65. And I kind of feel like that egg is almost worth the extra price. But on the display, Mattel had Survivor Series. I'm wondering if they just repainted that one that they used that came with the Vince McMahon figure, or if this is going to be included in the set as well. No details, but I would love that. That'd be a cool addition. Anytime you get those platforms where Mean Gene was interviewing people, that would be a good thing. So hopefully that is the case. Now let's go on to the other reveals that we got later on in the day. So we got the promo pictures and pre-order information for WWE Legends 19. That's Brother Love, so you can have him escort Kane, the Undertaker, to the ring. That's a really nice touch. He has his big, good book. He's got a really big microphone. I really wish there was some way that they could have figured out some extra money in the budget. Maybe just include that Hall of Fame stand to include or mock up to be his pulpit, because that's really the only thing you need for Brother Love that they don't include. But that would be awesome. Maybe they can do a Brother Love set and include that there. But he looks really good. I'm glad to see him in this line finally, because he was causing so much trouble with all the superstars when he was around. So it'll be cool to have him in figure form as well. Then we get Kane. We get another version of the Undertaker, and this was like an Undertaker love fest between him and Cody Rhodes. It was a battle to see who's going to get the most figure revealed today. I think Undertaker wins in the end, but it was pretty close. This is Cowboy Undertaker. It's a nice different look for him. I kind of like the fact that there's so many looks for the Undertaker that you can have multiple ones. And yeah, he's in all black most of the time, but they're going to look really different on your shelf if you have just a lineup of Undertaker figures. I like that enough that I'll probably buy it when it's $10 on clearance at Target. Finally, we get the last two members of Farook's Nation of Domination. His final one before Rock decides, this is my show, this is my faction now. It's D'Lo Brown. This is a big update from the other one. He's got double jointed elbows, and he's got the Nation of Domination colors. The original D'Lo didn't have that, but I didn't care. It was like, I got a D'Lo Brown finally. This one's cool. Of course, he's got the chest protector. That's a really nice thing. And I think they tweaked the head sculpt as well. The Kama figure is a little more of a disappointment because Mattel introduced this awesome Kama buck with the Kama, the Ultimate Fighting Machine figure. And this was different, thicker, buffer than the Papa Shango ones we've seen in the past. The Godfather figures we've seen earlier. This one had his physique, his frame, perfect. And for whatever reason, Mattel decided not to use that one again for this version of Kama. That's really disappointing. It's the older singlet one. I think this is basically the same one they've used with the previous Godfather figures, the Papa Shango one in the past. And it's okay, but they created a better mold, so you'd think they would just run with that. So they didn't. That's a bit of a disappointment, but what can you do? I'm just happy to have a complete version of the Nation. Maybe later we can find out some way we can get an Ahmed Johnson so we can have them, or Crush and Savio Vega and PG-13 and Clarence Mason, can't forget him, so we can have Farook's original Nation. But for now, we're going to have a complete one, and that'll be fun to have on the shelf. Hopefully Mattel will now go and re-release a better version of Farook with a proper skin tone. That remains my big gripe with some of these black figures they've done. It's like they just act like they don't know how to do the proper skin tone. Other Farook figures have fixed that, so hopefully we can get a corrected version because his outfit's sculpted and, you know, can't quite do that. But I still need that to have a complete Nation of Domination. Then we get Legends 20, and this one's kind of a disappointment. I typically buy 3 of the 4 figures in a Legends line unless there's a repaint or re-release of a figure I already have in my collection and don't care about the double jointed elbow upgrade. This one's a little wacky. So we get Ted DiBiase in his white suit, and then there's a chase with him in the green suit. It's okay, but I really just want an Ultimate Edition version of Ted DiBiase at this point with a cloth outfit that I can just swap on and swap off and have him wrestle and do his ring gear deal. It also comes with an older head sculpt for his time when he was advising Cameron Grimes in NXT. I don't think it's a great likeness either. He looks more like Earl Hebner. The glasses are too thick, and it's a really weird likeness, and something where it's like, how many people are going to care about this? Especially since the only way you could get Cameron Grimes was from an online exclusive and not at stores, so it's just weird. Anyway, I still think we need more wrestling versions of Ted DiBiase, and if we wanted to go the Dingo Warrior route, we could use a Mid-South / UWF version of Ted DiBiase with a black glove for the collection. Yes, please. All right, and then we get Mr. Perfect, and we have been begging for new Mr. Perfect figures for a while, and it was a little bit of a disappointment to see he's got those plastic straps, singlet top, like the Undertaker, and for Undertaker it was so he could pull it down, and I think a lot of people were really excited. I thought Mattel did a really nice, let's try this technique, this format to see how it works, but it's too thick for a guy like Mr. Perfect. For Undertaker, especially during that time frame, that big bulky plastic torso was fine because it wasn't like he was cut and ripped up, but for Mr. Perfect, it makes him look too thick, too just wide, and just kind of ruins the illusion of a perfect athlete. My preference for Perfect anyway would be an Ultimate Edition figure with swappable singlets, so we can get a black one, so we can fudge it and include a head sculpt with the ponytail. That way he can work for the NWO as well. Maybe a blue, yellow, green, or orange. And that way you just have multiple options for display for him, and you can reenact different matches. I think this is a nice attempt, but it doesn't really work for me. But the last figure, the one that for sure I'm going to get in this wave, is perfect. It's Greg the Hammer Valentine in his rhythm and blues look. So he's got the Roy Orbison black hair. He's got the cloth jacket, which is really well detailed. And he's got a guitar so he can smash heads with Honky Tonk Man. This is one of those figures that completes a tag team. And I feel like Mattel has been trying. They've been rolling out one member team, hoping to get another to complete it, but now we finally get one of those teams knocked out and completed, and we get the Survivor Series 1990 team of Ted DiBiase, Honky Tonk Man, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and Kane the Undertaker. So that's really cool. So I'm looking forward to getting him. I may not even wait for it until he gets on clearance, even though I know he will, but I'm really excited about getting him. And I'm hoping we get an older or younger version of Greg the Hammer Valentine from 1984 when he had the shorter hair, when he was teaming with Brutus Beefcake, so I can have a complete, more accurate looking dream team. I can fudge it, but I'd rather have a better looking head sculpt, a younger one for the Hammer at that time frame. So yeah, hopefully that'll come to pass really soon. Next up was Defining Moments, and they brought this set back, and it's like, oh, this is really cool. But I feel like the price point of these figures is a little bit too much when they're glorified elites. I didn't really like paying extra for the Defining Moment figures just for that cool box. I love the presentation, but I feel like we've seen better boxes with regular elite figures at this point, and I don't know if we really need to revisit it just so we can see the backs of a few figures who have cool looking backs and not just a standard figure, and we're just seeing the back of them in the package. But they're here, and I think it's cool to get that line back. I just wish the price wasn't so much, because it's just a few dollars less than an Ultimate Edition figure, which is so much more, so many more accessories, so many different portraits, that it kind of blows that away. So anyway, here's the lineup of what we're getting. We got Cody Rhodes with his bruised, busted up chest, the pec muscles all red. I think they did a really nice job with it. But kind of what I was talking about, he didn't have a ring jacket. I feel like they're trying not to undercut the Ultimate Edition or any other upcoming elite ones that do have the jacket. But I feel like we kind of needed that so we could do the pose of them stretching and you see it for the first time. So that's kind of a missed opportunity. It does come with a bull rope though. And that's a cool figure accessory, something that as Dusty Road fans, I kind of want to get anyway, so I could just have him beat up my Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson figure. So I don't know, maybe I'll wait for that to hit clearance just for the accessory, but I really think this is a cool Defining Moment option. And I think that really embodies the concept of the series, to have a defining moment in a wrestler's career. So we got him coming. Next up, we got my guy Bret Hart, and he's from WrestleMania 8, so he's in all pink. I do think this is kind of a weird choice because we got that Target all pink attire, and if you're not a hardcore Bret Hart fan like me, where it's like, oh look, this one has 4 hearts and this one has the hearts slightly diagonal, or this is from this attire, I don't think everyone's gonna care about that. They're gonna be like, I just got the Ultimate Edition version of this, why do I need the WrestleMania 8 version? Hopefully this means we'll get a Roddy Piper that matches him a little bit better, because the one they released was not great. So anyway, I'm going to get this because I'm a Bret Hart guy. We also get the Royal Rumble 1997 Shawn Michaels. So this is the one that was in San Antonio, Texas. So he's got the San Antonio or the Texas Hearts. That was a really great attire. And it's got the sleeve shirt, because it's like he doesn't have a bottom half of the shirt. It's weird. It's got his cowboy hat. This is when he's fighting Sid, who is really overdue for a better version, maybe an Ultimate Edition. Sid would be great because he could benefit from multiple expressions. So that's another one I'd love to see eventually. So we got him. I think this one looks really, really good, and probably the standout, except for one other figure, but he really looks good. Gonna get him for sure. Then the final member of this lineup is Mankind from his iconic Hell in a Cell King of the Ring 1998 encounter with The Undertaker. This figure is really cool, and this is probably the one alongside Bret that shows the importance of having the open back window, because this thumbtacks where he gets choke slammed down onto the mat that he falls into are included in the back of his shirt, which is such a cool extra touch. And that's not even it. They actually paid attention to detail and have his tie slightly askew. Awesome attention to detail there. But we get an alternate head sculpt, which features blood for the first time in a Mattel figure. So he's got a bloody mouth with a smile, like when he was sitting there like in pain but smiling. And he's got the tooth coming from his nose. It's just kind of stuck in. It's so awesome. It is such an amazing head sculpt, and I'm gonna have to get it just so I can do that. And I assume everyone's gonna start clamoring for a Hell in a Cell once we get this figure, but geez, this figure looks amazing and a really nice, iconic moment to have in figure form. Totally and truly fitting for the defining moments line. Now let's go on to the elites, just the dedicated elite line, which I am not as interested in because they've kind of phased the flashbacks to the legends out of it, so it's mostly modern stars. Elite 102 has Austin Theory in his Captain America-esque gear. We get Commissioner Foley, haha, cheap pop. He's got a plant, he's got his gavel. I think that's kind of cool in a cloth flannel shirt. Nice touch for Commissioner Foley. Another face of Foley to get in this line as well. We got Edge, got Rhea Ripley in their Judgment Day attires. Sami Zayn with the giant mousetrap, aka probably the greatest accessory Mattel has ever included with a figure. And Gunther. I wasn't a huge fan of Gunther's change. I loved him as more as Walter. He was around in NXT, had that great feud with the Undisputed Era, along with the rest of Imperium. So I'm probably going to buy it and get this version because it's not exclusive. So I think I'll get him. So from this set, we'll probably get two. But I think all these figures look pretty decent, although they still need to make a buffer, thicker version of Rhea Ripley who doesn't look as frail as a typical women figure that Mattel puts out. For Elite 103, we get the Street Profits in better scale. Angelo Dawkins is not towering over Montez Ford, which is awesome. They both come in cloth outfits. They've got cloth jerseys. I think that's a nice touch. They've got better head sculpts. Dawkins has that head sculpt. I think that's a really nice one. The original one was great, so if you don't like this one, you can just swap it over, but I think this is a really cool head sculpt. It's really fitting for him at that moment because that's something he does all the time. We got a Bobby Lashley, comes with the US title. Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns, and I'm always like, what are you going to do differently with this Roman Reigns that wasn't done better with the Ultimate Edition figure, but you got to keep him in rotation, so there you go. And finally, we have Stardust with the awesome polka dot attire from his Money in the Bank ladder match. He even comes with the polka dot ladder. Great accessory as well. Like I said, if you're a Cody fan, you are well served with these reveals today, and I'm sure we're going to see a few more tomorrow and Saturday. So they continue the Elite love, but just transition over to the Walmart exclusive Ruthless Aggression line. So we've got Edge, and I think this Edge figure is probably the best Ruthless Aggression era head sculpt for Edge that we've seen since ever. I think this is the one that I have been waiting for that actually looks like the sleazy ultimate opportunist that was such a great personality switch for the rated R superstar. He had so many nicknames. He beat out his boy Jericho on that sense. I loved Edge during this period of time. I thought he was really great playing that sleazy heel role and awesome. This figure finally gives me that Ruthless Aggression figure that I wanted of Edge, and I still wouldn't mind seeing him in Ultimate Edition form either. Then we got the Miz, and this is really a throwback because I still have that version of Miz in my collection. That's actually my preferred look for Miz, the street punk look. And I thought that was such a cool attire. Everybody who missed out on it before now gets a chance to get it again. I think that's a nice touch from them. We also get an MVP. He looks really thin. Even back then, MVP wasn't that small and slender. So it's just weird they kept that same buck for him again. It's just like, come on, guys. MVP was not a small, slender guy, but the head sculpt was kind of cool. It's got that ballin' look. It's all right, but I'm probably not going to get it because it's not an upgrade over my original MVP with the blue and black attire. Then we got JBL, and again, Mattel is just like, we don't care if he's thicker and fatter than this figure. This is what the mold we're going to go with, and as a result, it's a no buy for me on JBL. I wonder if this Gunther figure would actually make for a better mold for JBL because it looks thicker and wider and seems more fitting for JBL, who's just a big lug at that point in time in his career. Wait, that's how he was the entire time of his career. But you know what I'm saying. This one's too thin. It's got a cool attire, but I don't really look at this figure and go, yeah, that's a great likeness to JBL. And then we got Tori Wilson, and Tori, of course, I had to get in my collection, so, got to get her. She comes with her dog. It's a cool attire, and that works for me. And the final member of this lineup is Hollywood Rock. The Ruthless Aggression series is 3 figures. It's not a traditional 6-wave, so I don't know how that breaks down, which figures are in which wave, but that's the lineup. It's really cool to see Hollywood Rock, though. Maybe he's going to tell everybody else they can't be in his wave like he did with Black Adam. So that's that one. Then we get some more news that's very exciting, especially for everybody who's on the fence with that Nitro set, because it's like, oh, where's the rest of the stuff? I wanted to see a big rollout of WCW. Where is it? Mattel had you covered and had us all covered, because they were like, no, just stay tuned. We've got it coming. So the Ruthless Aggression line is going to be replaced by a Monday Night Wars line, which I think is really brilliant. It's really great, because that was wrestling for so many fans, and so many collectors at this point are super nostalgic for that 90s Monday Night Wars era. So this wave, and we're going to get at least 2, because they said each wave is going to have a Build-A-Figure, which is great. Maybe there's a way to get a Monday Night War era version of Mean Gene Okerlund. Maybe a pallbearer with the red shirt who's hanging out with Kane, who's hanging out with Undertaker as a Ministry of Darkness, not the Minister of Darkness. And other figures, maybe an Eric Bischoff with the NWO shirt. Maybe a Steve Mongo McMichael. That would be so cool. The lineups, we didn't see the figures in full color. We got them in grayscale renders, so it's kind of like, okay, this is a nice tease. Here's what we got. So we got the Undertaker, and he looks really good. Again, another version of Undertaker we haven't really seen a lot of. I'm kind of thinking, jeez, I'm going to have so many Undertaker figures this time next year getting all these guys, but they keep looking good, so I'm probably going to just keep buying them. Then we got Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I think he's going to be the one I'm getting for the Build-A-Figure, because he's in jeans. I keep wondering why they don't do the jean shorts, because that's what Stone Cold rocked like 90% of the time when he wasn't in ring gear. So anyway, I'm sure it'll get accessoried out to be a really cool Austin figure, but I still wish he came with the regular jorts. Then we got a Hollywood Hogan, and because it's not painted, the presumption is this is the night after Bash at the Beach, where he's got his little small gloves and he's trying to figure out how he's going to be the tough guy and do all that good stuff. And I guess it wasn't really the night after Bash at the Beach, because I think he took a little time away and made a grand appearance later on. But anyway, I think that's the look that they're going for with this figure, the post Bash at the Beach look, and that would be a good one to have, because another figure they revealed is Nitro debut Scott Hall. Now there's some issues with how accurate this is to his first appearance on Nitro. The sculpt has his long hair, but in that appearance he was wearing his hair in a ponytail. He did that for the first 2 nights of appearances on Nitro, so I don't quite understand why they went with this head sculpt. That's a real weird choice for me. They do have a ponytail version, so if you really needed to, you could swap that out, but I don't understand why on the prototype the hair is not correct. Also, Scott Hall had his pants, his jeans tucked into his boots, and we have on this figure them just hanging over the boots, and that's not accurate either. If you could say top 5, top 10 iconic moments during the 90s, Scott Hall showing up on Nitro absolutely is in the top 5, top 3 maybe. And to not have that look down properly is a little bit disappointing, especially since Mattel could do better and use that boot mold, that proper boot mold, jeans tucked in for other figures. I hope, even though it's in the grayscale process right now, that it's not too late to switch it up. And then finally, we get Lex Luger in his debut Monday Nitro appearance. So for everybody going, man, Luger should be part of this. And, you know, he didn't wrestle, so I didn't necessarily need that. I think him showing up with a white puffy shirt would be kind of cool anyway. And I like the idea of populating the original early days of Nitro. Maybe Jushin Thunder Liger will be part of this as well, because that'd be cool, because we can have him fight Flying Brian. And of course, we probably still need the Big Bubba to go after Hogan. But anyway, I think it's a really cool lineup. There's so many options for Build-A-Figures, and I'm excited about it. And Mattel also revealed that they are going to be doing so much more in this Monday Night Wars theme. They're going to be Ultimate Edition figures, so looking forward to that. And in an answer to so many questions, including mine, they are releasing a WCW Nitro Ultimate Edition ring, and there's a tease that it is including a figure that we've long been anticipating. So many choices for me on that. Clearly my number one, Sting, will not be part of it because he's still in AEW, but maybe this is where we get that all black attire Bret Hart. We get DDP. I guess we probably wouldn't get DDP in jeans because that would kind of counteract with the whole Ultimate Edition set, but maybe Booker T with white attire and the red flames, that'd be cool. Purple attire, I don't care, any version of him would be cool. Maybe a better version of Hollywood Hogan. So many choices, and there's so many really anticipated Nitro figures that it could be anybody. Maybe Conan, that could be cool. He's going to be inducting Rey Mysterio into the Hall of Fame, so maybe we get K-Dog in his Wolfpack attire, that would really be a seller for me, and I would buy it first day if K-Dog is in there. But let me speak on some other things right now. They're bringing the greatest hits. They're doing another round of those. So we're getting King Harley Race, that figure that so many people missed out on and are paying ridiculous prices on eBay. You don't have to worry about that anymore. The figure's coming much more affordable, which is great news for everybody. WrestleMania 14, Shawn Michaels. That was one of their best versions of Shawn they've ever done. Now it's improved with double jointed elbows. Maybe I'll dip into it because I really like that figure. Then there's Batista in his all blue attire, Ministry of Darkness Undertaker. This is low-key one of the better versions of Taker. This is when he was teaming with the Big Show and just raining havoc on the WWE tag team scene for a few months. I really like the head sculpt. This figure is really good, and I'm so happy for everybody who missed out, who can now finally get that figure. And then finally we get Seth Rollins and his, I'm sneaking in, cashing in Money in the Bank, and I'm walking around and whirling the world title that I stole from Roman Reigns. I think that's a cool figure, probably better suited for an Ultimate Edition, but it's here. People can get it. They missed out. And then, of course, there's the last figure in this wave. DDP is his motivational guru version. Never really liked that, so I didn't care. I passed that figure so many times on the shelf, so I'm a little surprised that this is back in as a greatest hits figure, but kudos for everybody who wants it. Now you can get it again. Now we're moving on to the Ultimate Edition, and this is an exciting setup. We've got a lot of good figures, really great looking accessories that in my mind really make a lot of these figures even more so. So we get Ultimate Edition Wave 17 Andre the Giant. This is him as a heel, but he comes with the face t-shirt with the big handprint. Lots of expressions. I think these portraits are really good, so I don't think after this figure I will ever need another Ultimate Edition or another Andre the Giant figure. And they've got great head sculpts for him. He comes with a supersized championship belt that Bobby Heenan had custom made for him when he defeated Hogan at WrestleMania 3, which did not happen, of course, but that's a really great accessory to add in there too. Seth Rollins is the other one, and he comes with the most glorious ring jacket ever. So many colors, so obnoxious for this stage of Seth Rollins, and I love it. Definitely get it, even though I don't really get a lot of modern figures these days. That Seth Rollins is a must get for me. Ultimate Edition 18 picks up where we left off with the Ultimate Edition Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 7. We get Macho Man, and I'm kind of feeling like I don't really want to double dip, but this figure is a huge improvement over the Defining Moments version. That was a really, really great figure. It still holds up on the shelf, and I'm like, do I really need it? But I kind of do. It's got all the detail on the jacket now. It's got a better hat. It's got extra head sculpts, different ones, so that's really cool to see. It's got the shirt underneath because Macho Man was wearing a shirt for most of that match until he was like, I'm taking this Joker off, I'm going to beat him. We get this to finally complement the Ultimate Warrior. That's good. We got the match set up, but I still kind of feel like we need a 2-pack, maybe a Sherry and Elizabeth, so we can really get that whole match moment immortalized in figure form. So hopefully, I think a 2-pack of them would probably make the most sense. Hopefully we'll see that later on down the road because both of them are still under license, I believe. Then we get Randy Orton in his RK Bro attire. I do feel like I need a Randy Orton in Ultimate Edition form because I feel like being able to get an RKO out of him with ease would be really great and really necessary. And with the butterfly shoulders, with the double jointed elbows, it would be really easy to do that. So I'm probably going to get him just because I like Randy, and I think this is a cool time frame for him as a wrestler. And there's some exclusives because we love our exclusive Ultimate Edition figures. We've already seen that Rey Mysterio in the figure in prototype form looked alright, but seeing it in figure form with the whole entrance gear, that was really good. I was like, I don't really need the Rey Mysterio, but looking at that attire, I'm going to have to make some clearance space for that helmet setup, but I really think it's cool, and I think I'm going to have to get it. And of course, the Eddie Guerrero, which was an immediate purchase for me. He's got the Scarface shirt, different portraits, and I think they carry his personality so well, and I think it's one of the better uses of multiple portraits that we've seen in this line, because sometimes only one head sculpt is really good. This one, so many of them work perfectly for Eddie, and I cannot wait to get him. Then we get the tease version of Ruthless Aggression era Brock Lesnar. There's only so much you can do. He comes with a t-shirt and 3 different head sculpts, hands, and he comes with the Universal title as well. So really not too much, but I'm probably going to get this one because Brock was my dude back then, and I'd rather have this version than modern contemporary Outback Brock. Then we get a Rob Van Dam, and someone who absolutely needed the Ultimate Edition articulation. I think the default head sculpt they have on him is the worst by far, but the other two are really great RVD head sculpts. And there's a deal with his ponytail being removable / articulated, so you can have him in those flying in the air poses. Really good for figure photographers, I'm sure. But I can't wait to get an RVD in this format. That's why I haven't gotten so many of the other ones, because like when he gets that, the butterfly shoulders with the everything else, the double jointed elbows, the knees, the kick up heel hips, that's really going to be cool for him. So he's an absolute immediate purchase. I can't wait to see if they do a lot more Ultimate Edition Rob Van Dam, because he has so many colorful attires. So we got those coming. Then we also saw the Rock that was kind of teased earlier. They mentioned him. It's like, why do we need another Ultimate Edition Rock? This one comes with a tracksuit from his time where he was getting his chest worked on and needed covered up a little bit. Tracksuit Rock was, of course, what he was rocking when he fought in that I Quit match against Mankind, the halftime heat match, and I'm pretty sure St. Valentine's Day Massacre as well. So this is an outfit for Rock that had a lot of prominence during that early 1999 phase. So it's really essential for the character and your collection of Rock figures. And now you don't have to try to find that entrance great version of Rock that didn't have any articulation, but at least had the sweatsuit version. So this is really cool, and definitely something I'm going to get just for this look of Rock. And then finally, at least for right now, the Coliseum collection has 2 more figures, and the first one was George Animal Steel, and it's kind of a head scratcher because it's like, why is he paired with this character when there was another one that was so much more obvious? Dig it. And George is cool. I feel like he would have been one I would have waited a long time to get in this Ultimate Edition format, but he looks cool. It looks like there's some kind of way they've got the him messing around with the turnbuckle on the new generation ring, so that's kind of neat. And I'm hoping he has enough size, because I felt like that long ago Legends figure was a little bit too slight for George, because he was really big and that was his thing. And it looks cool. I mean, he's got his furry chest and all that good stuff, and he'll benefit from multiple head sculpts as well. He has mine, which of course you gotta have mine. And he's a fun figure, and I think paired with the other character, no one's going to care about George Animal Steel, and it's like, give me this one, because he's paired with, I think, the absolute best version of Roddy Piper we've ever seen. So many great portraits, and it's got the sleazy, slimy, I'm your favorite bastard heel Roddy Piper. So good, and I cannot wait to get him, have him face off with my Hulk Hogan and Mr. T. We clearly need a Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff version to pair up with these guys and complete the whole look. But I am so excited about this Piper, because I've been watching a lot of mid-80s WWF, and I'm like, man, we still don't have a perfect Piper. Now we do, and I'm happy to pay for the Piper. So much stuff that they revealed, and I'm excited about this just being day one. Hopefully we'll see the Steiner brothers, maybe some breakout news as Sting has fled AEW and he's rushing back to Mattel to get some more figures. More realistically, probably Ultimate Edition versions of the Outsiders, Hollywood Hogan, other figures that make sense for the WCW line. But it's really exciting time to be in the Mattel WWE product, even if they don't get every figure just right. Looking at you, Mr. Perfect. But maybe we'll see Kurt Angle. So there's so many things left over this weekend. And oh yeah, WrestleMania is coming too. So stay tuned. I'll be back tomorrow with more reveals, more thoughts of what I think about these things and which ones I'm definitely going to pick up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. This episode of Loud's Figure Files has been filed.